Welcome everyone to another episode of Allergy Smart TV. I'm your host, Aaron Dwyer. Today I want to talk about going to school as a child with food allergies and anaphylaxis in particular. So I want to get straight into it. We're going to do a little bit of a roundabout here. It's back to school in Australia this week coming up. Our son is in grade 3 this year, and we have over the last 5 years of schooling, kindy, preschool, 1, 2 and 3, we've always done what is called, over here anyways, what is called an in-service, which is where we would go in to the school in front of all the staff. So not just the teachers themselves who are involved on a day-to-day basis with the children, but all staff, and give them a demonstration and give them a heads up as to what food allergies are, what anaphylaxis is, how it applies to your child in particular, and in general. The interesting thing is that a lot of schools now are becoming more and more aware, of course, because of the rising numbers of children that have food allergies and anaphylaxis. So more and more schools are becoming aware of the situation and are taking it on board. Now, some are taking it on board to the point where they actually have plans in place, an action plan in place for what happens if an anaphylactic reaction was to occur on premises or out at an outside event, excursion, or some other outside event like swimming if they have to leave the school for swimming. So other schools, however, are still yet to take it on board. So depending on where you are, depending on the previous experience of the school, you may or may not have to step up and get involved. In Australia, we have a couple of institutions. We have something called the St. John's Ambulance Service, and they are able to come out to the school if you ask them to. There is a fee, I think it's around $100 or something Australian. They're able to come out to the school, and they have a set of slides they can show, and an ambulance officer will go through sort of in the finer details about anaphylaxis and what you have to do and the certain steps to take if something should occur when you're on the premises, when the child is on the premises. So that is one route to take. So you can approach the school and say, right, we need to bring everybody up to speed, all the staff that might be on campus at any one time, because of course school's very different to kindy or preschool. Kindy and preschool are fairly controlled environments. There's usually only 2, maybe 3 staff that you have to bring up to speed on it, and the children are fairly protected in an enclosed area, not coming into contact with too many other people. It's a fairly simple environment to be able to contain. School, on the other hand, is a completely different story, because they have their morning teas, their lunches, and depending on the school, the size of the school, and the layout of the school, all these variables are taken into consideration that it might affect or increase the risk that your child may have during the outside of classroom times. So you also have to be a little bit careful of the in-classroom times as well, but I can talk about that a little bit later on. From our experience, we've always approached food allergies in schools with a fairly level head, being that our son is anaphylactic to dairy, which is his top most allergic substance. You cannot ban dairy. You sort of can't get around it. It's in almost everything. So you have to be fairly realistic about this and say, well, if you can't ban because it just doesn't work anyway, and we can talk about that some other time, but if you can't do any sort of reduction of risk in that way, what can you do? Well, the only thing you really can do is make sure that in the classroom environment it's as clean as possible, and that means that the children have to wash their hands, because of course, being kids, they all get together and eat their lunch, and then they quite simply inadvertently touch each other, and there's no way around that. So the best way to do that is to simply apply a routine hand washing exercise before the kids return back to the classroom. Now, some schools will take that on board, other schools may not have the infrastructure, a sink or something like that that's around the classroom. We were fairly lucky in that our school put a sink in place around the grade 1, outside the grade 1 classroom, and we're able to wash the children's hands several times a day. And that was a huge, and I would put that at the top of the list as one of the most important things, is simply washing hands. It's such a simple thing, yet it's such a big ticket item. So all I wanted to do today was let you know that if your school doesn't have an existing policy in place, if the school doesn't have any sort of previous experience, then you are going to have to work with the school to organise some sort of an in-service training. Now, I thoroughly recommend that you show everybody at the school what it is, what an EpiPen is, what it is to have anaphylaxis, and what sort of reaction might occur should the allergen affect the child. So it's just a matter of everyone being on the same page, everyone being aware of the issue, and everyone knowing that it's a totally preventative and totally manageable occurrence. So should it happen, it can be managed and everything can work out for the best. So just a quick one today. I'll just leave you with that. Next week I want to talk in more detail about I'll talk about medical alert bracelets, I'll talk about EpiPens, I'll talk about what it is you should take to the school, what the school should do, what they should have, the sort of action plan they need. We've got so much to cover, and unfortunately I only have a small amount of time today, so I want to get this out to you so that you can at least get something moving, because I know in Australia the kids are starting next week, so there's not a lot of time. Unfortunately, if you haven't organised it before now, you're sort of fighting a battling current there to make it happen now, to get the teachers while they're all very busy now. So I hope you take this on board, and if you have got something out of today that you like or something that you don't like, please leave me a comment on the blog and let me know. So I want to grow this show, and the best way to do that is with your feedback. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.